Appreciate it. Yeah.
You don't talk to me about me, I don't.
Absolutely. The email. So I also cover, with trail. Yeah.
We don't have to stress.
A lot of
I just like
the
the traveler. I'm so sorry, I'm just now. Last night.
Yeah.
It took a bit of the day. But it was, I mean, have you been on the TV? The TV river?
Thank you. So.
I had no idea. I've never done it. I didn't really know much about it. But going through the river where all the vineyards are like that were those terraces. I mean, it's unbelievable. But I need to spend a week in now. I need a weekend. I mean, it's like thing. Yeah, we gotta do it. I didn't know what's one. I didn't know how I should nourish it. So it's kind of like really on the street and so, but that's like probably not what I do. Okay. Also, our conference, I'm going to go away for that. That's what we're doing. He's going to be for that.
Yeah. Yeah, let me know.
Call that meeting order. Regularly scheduled meeting for the KIPDA Board of Directors on our June date, 26/2025. Glad to see everyone here. Those of you who are online, we're happy to have you join us today. So we'll start off with our roll call.
Mr. Kevin Beatty. I see you on screen, Kevin. Honorable Scott Bates.
Here.
Thank you, Judge. Honorable John Black. Honorable Bernard Bowling.
Here.
Miss Brittany Vito for the Honorable Byron Chapman.
Here.
Honorable Jack Kaufman.
Here.
Mr. Jack Couch.
Here.
Honorable Troy Eppington. Honorable Jeff Gahan. Honorable Nicole George for the Honorable Craig Greenberg. Mr. Keith Griffey.
Here.
Honorable Treva Hodges. Honorable John Park for the Honorable Dan Ison.
Here.
Miss Mitzi Kazitz for the Honorable Maria Johnson.
Here.
Honorable Mike Moore. Honorable John Ogburn. Mr. Matt Munay for the Honorable Carol Pike.
Here.
Honorable Jason Sharp. Honorable Jerry Summers.
Here.
Honorable Jim Travis.
Here.
Honorable Scott Travis. And the Honorable David Vogel. We do have a quorum.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Sheriff.
If I could also, before we get started, I would like to recognize the guest that we're honored to host today, Representative Peyton Griffey, who represents parts of Bullock County and the House of Representatives. Peyton, thank you for being here. I'd like to give you the floor if you have anything to share.
Yeah, it's I'll stand up where everybody stand in the middle here in the Lions Den. It's good to see you all. I'm Peyton Griffey. I'm in the 26th district in the Kentucky House, so that's Bullitt, little portion of Hardin County. So I'm excited to be here this week. Tuesday, I was in state and local government. I'm on both those committees. And we actually heard the Regionalism Works PowerPoint from Daniel London. There were some other folks I know that you guys are familiar with. So I'm really excited to get more involved here, get to hear what you guys have going on. I know they've already been a great resource to me, as long with our Hardin County is the Lincoln Trail area. So they've been a great resource as well. But I'm excited to be with you guys. Like I said, I'm just down the interstate here. So if you ever have questions for me or anything going on in the legislature, happy to address that. But appreciate getting to be a guest today. Thank you. And thank you, Judge, for having me.
Okay. We'll move right on with our regular item. And I do want to welcome everyone again. Thank you for coming out today. Nice, we have a nice cool room to relax in. So if you get cold, just go outside. So today, we have, first item on our agenda is the May board meeting minutes for May 22nd. Have a chance to look at those. Know that there's any additions or corrections, so I would entertain a motion to accept those minutes. I have that motion.
So moved.
And how about a second?
Second.
Any questions or additions? If none, all those in favor of approval of the minutes signify by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Next up is our May financial statements. Ms. Shaw, you have those for us?
Yes, thank you, thank you. The first financial page is on page 24. We're looking at our summary of elements. And we are 92% through fiscal year 25. So on page 24, we're looking at our CED spend. We have spent $822,289 for 95.97%. Under transportation, we spent $2,935,664 for 55.48%. And under our social services, we spent $26,789,007. And that is at 0.99%. 99%. And then our other operating is 19,918. And that's at 25.38%. So our overall spend for KIPDA, our total is $30,868,662 at the end of May 30th, 2025. So our agency line item revenue and expenditure report is on page 25 through 30. And I'm going to 27 because I'm looking at the current revenues and the year-to-date revenues. And that's also up on our chart. So our current for the month of May is $4,252,824. And our year-to-date is $31,443,890. And according to our chart, you can see what our budget is. It's the $33,846,863. So we have spent a percentage of, or we've received in our revenue, a percentage of 92.90%. Okay, so on page 30 is our expenditures, and our current expenditures are $4,159,507. Say 8 rounding up. And then our year-to-date expenditures are $30,868,662. And for our percentage of our expenditures, we are at 91.20% through May. Okay. So going on to page 31 through 33 is our balance sheet. And we usually show you on this graph, showing you how much our total cash is. And our total cash is $4,828,738 at 14%. Our total accounts receivable is $2,812,873 at 14%. And then our other total assets are 4,382,071 at 22%. And then our total liabilities and projects are 9,991,588 at 50%. Do you have any questions?
Are there any questions? If not, I will take a motion to approve the May financial statements. Do I have that motion?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion? Can we have a second? If so. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much, Ms. Shaw.
Yes.
Next up is the Transportation Policy Committee, Mr. Rush.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. The KIPDA Transportation Policy Committee met at 1 o'clock today, special time, 1 o'clock today. I'll go over a little bit of what we talked about at that meeting. The meeting was headlined by a guest speaker today. I thought everybody thought it was interesting, and those that are still in the room thought it was too. That is Mr. Tom Springer from QK4. QK4 recently completed a planning study for the I-64 interchange and connector study, I think is what they called it. Also known as State ID 5-80,000 for legislators in the room. That project is a proposed project that's been studied at least 2 or 3 times over the last decade or two to build or potentially build a new interchange east of Gene Snyder, presumably west or near the Shelby County, Jefferson County line. There's a 9-mile gap that is exit 19 is Gene Snyder on I-64, exit 28 is the Simpsonville exit, 9-mile gap. Exit 19 is what's known as a system interchange meaning it's interstate to interstate. That doesn't serve local business at all, does it? So that gap is actually longer than 9 miles. It takes you 11 miles, exit 17 to get from Blankenbaker to Simpsonville. So it could be viewed as a missing link in the network, in the system. It's not without controversy, to say the least. It's been studied a couple times, as I said, and it's never been followed through on. So Tom gives a good presentation on all the things that were considered in that planning study. For those that weren't there, they're advancing 2 concepts, concept A and concept C. Concept A is immediately east of and adjacent to the Department of the Florida Sport. Okay, so that alternative would carry lots of traffic, lots of people would use it nearer to town, so to speak. Concept C is more or less at the county line, at the Shelby Jefferson County line, near a road known as Clark Station Road. So Clark Station, or that road, concept C, would carry a little bit less traffic. There might be a little bit fewer issues with that one. So they're going to carry both through, at least through the decision making that comes with the preliminary engineering and the environmental decisions. So both are taking 2 forward, and 2 of 20 or something that they studied initially. They narrowed it down to 2. So that was a good presentation. I think everybody in the room was eager and interested in it. So thank you all for joining us there. The other events in the TBC, I don't want to be remiss. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention those. Brady Hill mentioned our call for projects. Our call for project this year is only Kentucky, because we have additional money, or money that we believe we always had, and it's been confirmed by KYTC that we do have. We have 25 million in KIPDA TBC controlled or NPO dedicated funds. So for the Kentucky only 25 million. The deadline to get those projects into us is August 1st. That window opens up on July 1st. So local governments have the month of July to get those projects to us. Those are limited to Jefferson, Bullitt, Owen counties, to be clear. And then one other thing I want to mention is that most of the folks in the room should have received your final Safe Streets and Roads and All for action plan. It should have shown up in your email inbox perhaps late last night. That's when it showed up in mine anyways. And so we're happy to have that completed. There's going to be, I think, a couple of applications, grant applications for the SS4A program in our region. That deadline is tomorrow. Okay, so the feds is tomorrow. So I think there's going to be at least 2, sounds like, in the KIPDA region. So that's good. And then we've got probably a multiple of 2 that are in the works. That is, I bet next year we're going to have 5 or more in our region, so some good things to come there. So be happy to answer any questions, but that concludes my TPC report.
Any questions for Mr. Rush? If none, I need a motion then to approve the report from the Transportation Policy Committee. And then Mr. Bowling, do we have a second? A second? Any other questions? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you, Andy. Now you're also up for our Transportation Division contracts.
Yes, sir. It is very much contract season here. And so I will walk us through, I think it's 5 contracts that the Transportation Division has collectively, and we'll go over each of one of them pretty quick. If we need to go in depth, please stop me. Otherwise, I will keep going. I guess I will ask, do we want to do multiple motions or one?
Does it make any difference to
Doesn't
you?
matter.
Let's just hear them all and then we'll make one motion.
Right, then I'll go right on through. So the first one, this is agenda item 7 on page 34. Agenda item 7, page 34. The first one is the big one for us. That is our fiscal 26 Metropolitan Planning Funds, or PL funds, contract with Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. That's the funding, that's the primary source of funding that funds the Metropolitan Planning Organization's operations here at KIPDA. So that's 1.347 million federal on that contract. What's interesting to note here, and I mentioned this a couple of months ago, is that KYTC has done us a solid, to say the least. That is, KYTC has said that we care about this so much, the metropolitan planning efforts that go on, not just at the KIPDA region, but in the urban regions across Kentucky, that they are going to bump up their match, which has traditionally been 5%. Remember, it's an 80-20 match. Okay, so traditionally it's been 80-15-5. 80% federal, 15% is paid for by KIPDA through the local dues that you all pay, and then 5% would be state match. Okay, KYTC has bumped it up to say 80-10-10, and that is fantastic. Of course it is. So we're up to an 80-10-10 rate. So that lowers the match that's paid by local governments in Kentucky. So that's fantastic. So that's notable there. The full dollar amount is about the same as last year. There is one thing to note. You'll see that on the second contract. This is even better news on local match front. A couple of years ago, the Fed said that when you engage in certain activities known as complete streets planning activities, there is now a waiver of the local match requirement. So this year, for the first time, or this upcoming fiscal year for the first time, we're going to take them up on their offer. Okay, it's going to be a little tricky maybe to handle accounting wise, but we've got that figured out, and we'll get better at it year over year. But so we're going to pursue a small amount this year, and probably presumably more in the future years of claiming unmatched money. So that's even better, even less local match that we need to be paying as local governments in regional governments in the KIPDA region. Those two contracts combined, the 1.3 million and 31,000, those are basically combined to what we've had in past years. Those two combined are actually a 2% increase year over year. So that's even better news, right? Moving on to page 35. On page 35, at the top of page 35 is another contract KIPDA has with Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. It's an annual renewal of our contract that funds the Surface Transportation Block Grant funds that go to fund the Every Commute Counts regional rideshare program. So Elizabeth's going to talk a little bit about that here in a moment. But that's our annual contract with KYTC. So we get $996,000 federal from KYTC to administer that program in fiscal 26. And those local match dollars, by the way, are paid for exclusively through the fares that the customers and riders in our program pay into the program. So that's cool, real cool. Moving on, the second one on that page is NDOT likes to dump all of their funding contracts into one. Well, that's cool too. So those in essence, those three contracts I just talked about, that kind of all in one and then some in Indiana. So we get our PL funding, the Metropolitan Planning Funds that come from Federal Highways Administration to the tune of $297,000 federal. We get the Section 5303 funds. Those are the transit funds that come to NDOT, some come to KIPDA via NDOT from the Federal Transit Administration to the tune of $95,000. We get $200,000 a year, that's in the same contract, that's the CMAQ program, congestion mitigation air quality. $200,000 annually, comes through KIPDA, comes through NDOT to KIPDA to Louisville Metro government to administer in part the CARE program, Kentucky Air Education Program. And then last but not least is the Indiana portion of the STBG dollars that go to fund the Every Commute Counts program. So remember, it's all four lumped into one there. So that's convenient. Last but not least, of course, we do a lot of transit things around here and we interact with the park all the time. Another annual update and during contract season here is the be seeking approval of is the TARC route monitoring contract. Federal funds are passed through KIPDA to TARC to help fund their monitoring of their routes. What does that mean? That means they keep track of how many people are getting on and off their buses and where they get on or off their buses. And so that data is shared not only to KIPDA staff, but made public as well. So in that case, the local match is paid for by TARC. And so no burden of this committee to be concerned about. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions about any of these 5 contracts. That concludes my report.
Do we have any questions? If there are none, then we'll need a motion then to approve these 5 transportation division contracts that have been presented by Mr. Rush. So I need a motion to approve these 5 transportation division contracts. Have a motion? Do we have a second? Second? Any other questions? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. Next up on our agenda is Every Commute Counts contract. And we have that from Ms. Schiller.
Hi. So here, we've just approved, our overall budget for our, program, Every Community Counts. So I'm asking for, board approval for $52,420 for our, platform, our software that we utilize, TripSpark, RidePro. So this is our platform that, our users go to. This is our billing modules, our maintenance modules, and our regular admin modules. And it is 41,936 federal, and the local match is 10,484. And like Andy said before, our match is paid for by Vanpool fares. So a total of 52,420. So just need approval to go enter into amendment number 8 with TripSpark RidePro.
Are there any questions? If not, I'll need a motion then to approve the Every Commute Counts contract, and this is amendment number 8. And the contribution is a total of what,
420.
52,420.
Yes. Total.
A motion, do I have a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Next up is the overview of the CED activities. Ms. Harper.
Good afternoon. So just a little update on what me and my staff have been doing the first 6 months of the year. Currently, or let's see, the subdivision has been busy start to 2025. We've been submitting reports for ARPA that we're due in April, creating new water and wastewater project profiles, providing technical assistance to our local government. And we are assisting with over $384 million in investments in the KIPDA region. So far in 2025, we have applied for over $5 million in new projects. This includes a $600,000 for land and water, $250,000 for recreational trail grants, 1 million in assistance to firefighter grants and 2 million in the CDBG recovery funds. We have been awarded quite a few awards this year so far. The city of Inverness was recently awarded $562,000 for the Eminence wastewater treatment plant expansion. Those are CDBG funds, and then they were awarded $546,000 in the grant matching fund. So the local match for them is only $16,833. The city of Shepherdsville has received $6 million in EDA funds for their wastewater treatment plant expansion. The city of Middletown was awarded $3,000 for a new K-9 for their police department. And the Oddfellows located in Henry County, that lodge was awarded a $1,000 grant from the Kentucky Heritage Council, America 250 KY. And so that was for interior renovations of the actual, lodge. It's the only remaining Oddfellows lodge in the state of Kentucky, so it has a very interesting history. We have applied for and been awarded for 10 projects for the grant matching funds, and that totals $27 million in investments from that program. We've assisted Trimble County and Trimble County obtained a $100,000 Section 319H non-point source pollution grant. And that's from the Kentucky Division of Water, and that's to develop a watershed plan for the Little Kentucky River Hardy Creek watershed. And for our brownfields, our Grounds for Growth program that we have kicked off this year. We have already completed 4 phase 1s. Those were located in Bullitt, Henry, Clark, and Floyd. They are starting on a couple phase 2s for those 4 sites. And we had 1 outreach event in Shelby County at the Shelby County Fair. And currently we are working on applications for the SAFER grant, that's staffing for adequate fire and emergency response. And we are submitting a cost grant for the city of Campbellsburg. We're almost complete with the KIPDA 2025 water and wastewater management plan. And we are applying for a new EDA grant with Bullitt County and MSD, and this will leverage up to $45 million in federal funding in our region. And just a reminder that there are several LMI communities within our region. Those LMI communities are eligible for CDBG funds, so that would be anything from infrastructure to community facilities that are needed, economic development. It can for an expansion of an existing industrial business that's there, or if they need to buy new equipment, as long as they can provide jobs for the LMI and it will benefit them, they'll be eligible. Those communities are Bedford, Milton, Eminence, Pleasureville, Newcastle, Shelbyville, and Taylorsville. And we will continue the year by updating our SEDS. Ethan will be reaching out if you're on that committee. We thank you. We will be ranking water and wastewater projects and helping cities and SPGEs achieve compliance, so they're actually eligible for some funding. And we'll be completing the cleaner water program projects that have been here for the last couple of years. So with that, if there's anything you all ever need, public administration grants or just who to call, please reach out to me or my staff.
Any
Good.
questions?
And then I have something to add, a ratification.
Is it more money? You get more money you get?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
It is.
cool. All right.
I'm seeking approval for KIPDA to sign a contract with KIA in the amount of $61,000. This is to provide for Justin Carter with our water and wastewater position. Just asking for approval to sign that contract.
Okay. It's not on our agenda, but we can go ahead and approve it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and then we'll need a motion then to approve that contract. Do I have a motion? And a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Thank you.
Motion carried. Next up is the Regional Planning Council. This is Lloyd.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just a quick meeting reminder for today. KIPDA Regional Planning Council will meet on July 8th from 11 a.m. to 12. We'll be meeting in this room in person as well as via Zoom as usual. The guest speaker for this meeting is to be decided. Kind of wait to hear back from a few folks. If anybody in this room attends that meeting regularly and has an idea for a guest speaker or sector that you'd like to hear from, feel free to reach out to me as well. And yeah, that's it for that one.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
That's it. Any questions? If none, all those well, we don't have any questions, don't have any action to take. I appreciate that update on the meeting coming up. Thank you very much, Mr. Lloyd. Next up, Regional Water Management Council.
Yes, yeah, I'll be doing this one for Justin, while he's hanging out on the beach. KIPDA Regional Water Management Council will hold their fiscal year 2026 first quarter meeting on Tuesday, July 8th as well, same day as RPC. And that'll be at 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. And same as RPC, it'll be in this room as well as virtually. The guest speaker for this council meeting will be Sarah Gaddis, who is the director of the Kentucky Department of Water. And in addition to that, the council will also approve new water and wastewater projects and hear updates from each of our county's water and wastewater system directors.
All right. Any questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you.
Next up is the CED's committee meeting. Mr. Strange.
Just letting everybody know that the comprehensive economic development strategy meetings are starting back up. The next one will be August 20th at 10:30. It's a hybrid meeting, but most people usually tend to want to join virtually, which is perfectly fine. Anyone in this room is allowed to participate on this committee. So if you want to be on it, let me know and we can send you out an invite. I already sent out invites already, so if you've received that, please try to attend or send somebody as a proxy. But if you know of anybody that you feel like should be a part of this process, please let me know. So we have to update the comprehensive economic development strategy yearly. It's an annual update, and then we do a rewrite every 5 years. But this is just an annual update, so minor tweaks. We do have a list of things that we'll have to correct or adjust to get approval by the EDA. And all of that will be discussed at the first meeting. So please attend. Let me know if you have anybody that you want to be invited. Start familiarizing yourself with the SEDS. It's on our website under the SEDS tab. And then other than that, I'll see you at 10:30 on August 20th. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is item number 13, and this is the FMS contract for the fiscal year of 25. You got that for us?
Thank you.
All right.
So the first thing we have today is just kind of wrapping up the FY 25 for our financial management services. We had a couple of MOUs that here is signed for Ability, Rankin Community Supports, and the Marion House ADHC. Just needs to get authorization to approve Jared's signature, to ratify Jared's signature on those agreements.
Okay, so you've already signed this. So this is to ratify Jared's signature on that for the financial management service memorandum of understanding. We need a motion to approve the ratification of Jared's signature. Do I have that motion? Second? Second? Any other questions? If none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Next up is fiscal year 26.
Yes,
You
sorry.
have that for us.
As I said, it is definitely contract season, so we are looking to renew. There's nothing new, you just ratified any of the newer ones that we had. But there are 17 case management agencies that we are looking to provide financial management services for, 15 of which we are already currently providing services with. 2 we had agreements with, they just haven't started yet. We counted today and it was really neat to see that we are providing these services in 42 counties across the state. So it's the program is continuing to grow. I don't necessarily want to read all these to you. But we just want to authorize the executive director's signature on these, MOUs moving forward for FY 26.
Then we'll need a motion then to authorize the executive director's signature on the fiscal year 26 FMS contracts. Do I have a motion? I have a motion. You have a second? Any other questions? If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. And we'll just keep right on going. Now we're going to the fiscal year 25 social services business.
Thank you. So a couple of different just contract amendments that we're looking for approval on. The first set is for our Title III C1 congregate meal programs to increase funding for the contracts for Louisville Metro Senior Nutrition by 22,484, Masterson's 47,369, multipurpose food action agency 290, and Tri-County Community Action Agency 9,125. And this is basically allocating ARPA funds that weren't previously allocated under our contract to those contracts for what they're going to use through either. And I think we can take all these together. So
Okay,
the next one is for Title III C2, so our home delivered meals program. These numbers are a little bigger, but as we've gone through the year, the state has provided to us additional state funded meals. And this allocating those funds out to the contracts. So we look to increase Louisville Metro Senior Nutrition, $1,037,927, and multipurpose is $9,582. And the last one is to do some amendments to our Title III-B contracts. These are the health promotion, disease prevention contracts. And because of the ARPA funds that we've got, Highland Community Ministries has been able to expand their services for Tai Chi. It's $3,558, and Tri-County Community Action Agency has expanded services, Foley, Walk with Ease, Bingo Size, $4,742. Looking for authorization to do those contract amendments to award those additional funds.
okay, thank you. Then we'll need a motion then to approve these three contracts under the fiscal year 25 for the social services business. That's the C1, C2, and D contract. Do I have a motion? Second. A second. Any other questions? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Let's proceed on with fiscal year 26.
The first one is going to be for renewal of aging or FY 26 aging contracts and vendor agreements. We didn't have any new procurement this year, so this is going to be pretty much everything that's covered under our Title III, Title VII, and state contracts for our aging services. And this is where Cheryl handed out the additional pieces of paper for you. And I know it's super big and really easy to see, and I apologize for that. Most of these are matching where we were last year. We haven't done any big changes to contracts, so they're up. Most of them are up to the amount that they received for FY 25. Notable changes are for Title III-E, the contract for Jewish Family Career Services has increased by $20,644. And they are able to provide increased respite services in the region. And we actually have some additional funding for Title III-E due to ARPA funds that we've used the ARPA funds, but that's allowed us to have a little bit of extra funding to carry forward to increase those services. The home care unit rates are slightly increased from last year, but those are all were all negotiated when we did their procurement. So that's already been board approved. For Title III-D, we want to increase the contract for Jean Kennedy to a total of $20,000. She began providing an active choices program this year, so it's just a small contract to get it started. So this gives her a full year's budget where she can serve up to 50 clients in a 12-week course on getting out and getting moving. And the last one would be for our home care contracts for our supplies vendors, increasing each of those contracts by $10,000 from $40,000 to $50,000. And that's because we have been able to expand our home care client base. So we need additional funding to support the additional supplies that may be purchased. I mean, I think since this is aging and the next one's KHPE, I think we have to take it separately, so. we
Do
need
these
to do this one.
separately? Okay.
So we would request approval for, all these, if you have any questions, please, I know it's, like I said, super big.
Any questions? Okay, the first one will be our fiscal year 26 aging contract and vendor agreement renewal. I need a motion to approve the executive director's signature for that. Do I have a motion? A motion? Do I have a second? Have a second. Any other questions? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. And we also too, we have the fiscal year 26 KHBE contract renewal. And we also need a motion then to approve and authorize the executive director's signature for that contract. A motion?
Second.
No motion, do we have a second? Second. All those in favor then signify by saying aye. Opposed like sign, motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is item number 17, fanfare event. How applicable? You bring a fan with you?
Good afternoon. We hosted our 10th annual fanfare event this year, and we had over 300 participants show up the day of the event. So KIPDA, in partnership with Louisville Metro Office of Aid and Disabled Citizens, partners together on an annual basis. We've given away approximately 6,000 fans over the course of 10 years to our seniors age 60 and older and those living with disabilities. So at this time, we are well set for next year's event. We still have some sponsorship funds available. So that's a great start for 2026. Something that was different this year was that Louisville Metro Senior Nutrition Program donated shelf-stable food boxes for the first 250 participants of our event, and that was a delightful surprise. So a lot of the patrons came out that day because they were excited about that. So it was a great event, and thank you all for your support.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Ford. Okay, next is the Connect program. Ms. Anderson.
The Connect program, we finished up open enrollment back in, January. And since then, we've been trucking ahead. We have, started with all of our, connectors from our Louisville Metro subcontract and also from the Somali, community of Louisville, contract. So we have those connectors out in the field and they're doing wonderful as it is right now. For next month, we have 92 outreach and enrollment events scheduled. For May, we completed 358 applications, new applications and renewals, and that doesn't include other assistance that we provided to clients. As you see what I sent around the 10 connectors that we have out in the field. If you all need any assistance or have anybody that needs assistance with healthcare coverage, SNAP, or qualified health plans, these connectors are always available. But other than that, that's all that I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your report. Next up is the fiscal year 2026 agency-wide budget. Ms. Shaw.
So, on page 42 is our budget. Everybody on page 42. So just to let you know, our operating budget, according to our page 42, our operating budget is 20,478,298. And then our program related budget is the 29,693,247. And so our overall budget for fiscal year 26 is 49,693,247. So since fiscal year 25, between 25 and 26, we have increased our budget by 15,846,384. So we increased our budget quite a bit this year. Just wanted to do some highlights between fiscal year 25 and 26. We've increased salaries, or maybe I'm gonna explain that, but we have an increase in salaries of 456,268, and then an increase in part-time salaries of 4,029. So part of the full-time salaries was due to KHB. We have some vacancies last year, and according to their contract, we're required to fill all those positions. So we had to increase that area of our salary. We also have, social services has created six newly created full-time positions. So that would also increase, our salary this year. And then in our part-time salaries, we had an employee who was out most of last year and they're back. And then we're also have a PDS will be utilizing their part-time, case manager. That would also increase our benefits. So our benefits increased for full-time employees, $655,649, and then part-time, $1,189. So with that said, this is not our cost of living, I guess you would say, increase. We have not included that in this calculations due to the uncertainty of our federal funding. We will be revisiting that again in the next month or so, just to see where our funding is, so that we know what kind of increase we can give, and even when we can give it. So right now, that is not included in these salary increases that I just presented. Right now, there will be no increase right now.
And just as a reminder, typically we had done it July 1st where we do those salary adjustments. And then we pushed that to January 1st to get a better understanding of what funding we were going to receive. During COVID, we brought that back to July 1st, but this year, just with still uncertainties about that federal funding, as Frida mentioned, we decided to hold off. Ideally in August, since we're not meeting next month, we'll have our allocations at hand and can come with a recommendation for those salary adjustments. And if the board is willing, we could do those retroactive to July 1st. But at this time, we're just kind of waiting to see what funding we receive before we make that recommendation to the board about what salary adjustments to present.
Yeah, that was a better explanation. So going forward, we also had an increase in our temporary services. It was 156,767. And this was due to the KHB contracts. They're requiring temps to work full-time. So that was the reason for our temporary services increasing. We also increased our software maintenance and licenses. And this was one of the reasons, because we moved our DocuSign from registration to the software maintenance. And we also have the cost of the Monami software through our Department of Social Services that we are now paying for. We decreased advertising by 59,756. Rideshare, they reduced their advertising and plan to promote in other ways in 26. And then Department of Social Services had 30,000 of advertising in fiscal year 25, and they plan to advertise, not to advertise at that level as they did last year in 2025. So that reduced all of our advertising. We also increased contract services, and that was 406,702. And there was changing it in each of our divisions in our contract services. So we had CD, they have the EPA Brownfield budgeted for the whole year, where last year they only did it for a portion of the year. And then transportation, they came in under the original funding. This wasn't really an increase or anything. It's just that it was part of the calculation. So I thought I'd throw it out there. Department of Social Services, they have a new Ford grant. So that was also included in this. And CEO increased their case count in their financial management, which would incur additional fees. So that was the reason for such a large contract services increase. We also increased background check, and that was 148,913. And this included the background checks for our CDO staff, which is a requirement for fiscal year 26. Oh, and then we have a decrease in our office rent. Rent is budgeted through October. Our contract ends in the building across the street. I don't know what exactly the name of it is, but transportation is moving back into this building, and we should all be under the same roof by November the 1st. We decreased fleet operations, 25,000. Transportation is expecting to have fewer vans on the road in fiscal year 26. And then we also have a decrease in minor equipment of 75,439. And this was due to the replacement of most of our minor equipment in Department of Social Services was done in fiscal year 25. And they're going to be on a replacement cycle. So this year we didn't have any because we did most of them, or we did all of them pretty much, in last fiscal year 25. And that's all I have is highlights. Just requesting board approval for the budget.
Any other questions on the budget? Then we'll need a motion to approve the fiscal year 2026 budget. You'll have that motion to approve. Motion, do I have a second? Have a second? Are there any other questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Now, got the non-health related insurance.
Yes. It's needing.
That's everybody's favorite thing.
I hope it is.
Yeah.
So, this is our for our Keiko insurance, and just looking at the little chart that I put together, the Keiko Unemployment Insurance Fund, it's calendar year from 24 to 25, and then I show the changes and the percentage of the change. And then our workers' compensation insurance is fiscal year. So you'll see fiscal year 25 and 26 for the workers' comp and the all lines fund. And so just looking back up at the unemployment, we had a reduction, which is about 1,565.51 for a 35% decrease in our unemployment insurance. And I reached out to Keiko and they said it was due to the slight increase in our program equity and the slight decrease in the average wages. And this pushed us to a lower tax bracket. So that was why our insurance is a little bit lower on the unemployment insurance. And then looking at the workers' comp, we had a decrease also of $866.70, which is a 5% decrease. And they said that the losses have been low for the year 3 and 5 year period, and that our rating factors have all improved. So then when we got to the Keiko all line funds, we had an increase of $2,661.12 for a 7% increase. And this was pretty much due to inflation, of course, and just in the increase in our budget. And that's all I have on that.
I would say that really sounds like good news.
Yeah, overall.
Okay, anybody have any questions? None? We'll need a motion to approve the action on the unemployment and workman's comp insurance fund costs. A motion, or a second?
Second.
You have a second? Any other questions? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Ms. Shaw. Next up is item 21, and this is our personnel report. Ms. Agnew.
All right, I have no extracurriculars today, so just the standard report. Frank Crawley begins work on July 14th as van pool maintenance and safety coordinator. We're excited about him coming on. We just have one vacancy in home care as an assessor and case manager, but we're closing in on a hire on that one really quickly. Any job postings can be found as usual on our website, and our staff count is 81 full-time permanent, 2 part-time permanent, 3 full-time temporary, and 2 part-time temporary. Action is requested, please.
I'll need a motion then to accept the June personnel report. Do I have that motion? Motion, do I have a second? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the intergovernmental reviews. Jared, are these all in order or?
They are all have been sent for review. No comments were received, so these 6 projects can be taken together.
Okay, then we'll need a motion then to accept these 6 projects on the intergovernmental reviews. Do we have that motion? We have a motion and we have a second? Second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign? Motion carries. Next then is our executive director's report.
Thank you. I'd like to begin by recognizing a few additional guests and offer you all the floor to share any information you have with our board. First, Stacy Rockaway with Congressman Massey's office. Thank you for being here, Stacy. Anything you would like to share?
I do not have a report.
Okay, thank you. We are also honored to be joined by James Vickery with Congressman Guthrie's office. James, anything you would like to share?
Got a little bit for you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Director. So as you guys know, we're coming up on the one big beautiful bill is kind of coming to a head right now, sitting with the Senate. There has been an expectation that the House may be called back in session next week to vote on that to get for passage by July 4th. So a lot up in the air, as far as what that final bill is gonna look like, because the Senate's still working through a lot of it, gotta get kicked back. But, fortunately, that's kind of coming to it. I feel like that's caused a lot of consternation among many people as far as what that end result will look like and what some of those, second order effects will be like. But, one thing that was passed in the House last night, which I'm very happy to report, is the military construction and veteran spending bill. Obviously a very key bill for this region and near and dear to Congressman Guthrie's heart as a Army veteran himself. But here locally in the area, the congressman was able to get an appropriation put in there that I think you'll like very much. Representative Griffey, it is, and again, so let's go to the Senate and get through all that. But it is $50 million that will go towards a hangar upgrade at Fort Knox. So hopefully that will have a lot of second order economic impact effects for not only the immediate Fort Knox area, and which Bullitt County is a part of, but also everybody here in the KIPDA region. So, any questions? That is the end of my report.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, James. And we're also joined by Brian Blink with the Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Thanks, Jared, Mr. Chairman. I have 2 quick things. Obviously, Fish and Wildlife, we're all about recreation and fun and getting people outdoors, but I'm gonna be serious for 1 second. We've had a high number of drownings this year. We've had a lot of water. July 4th weekend is coming up. We're in the peak of boating season. Please, please, please make sure when you go out in the water, especially if the boat's underway, I don't care how good of a swimmer you are or how young you are, how strong you are, please wear those life jackets when the boat's operating. Especially, I know a number of people that use Taylorsville Lake, which is a very popular lake. Because of some of the other lakes ramps that have been closed because of high water, like Green River and some of the others, Taylorsville is experiencing very, very high usage. So when you're out there recreating and you're out there fishing, please make sure you're extra careful and extra cautious. And on another note, a lot of people are seeking relief from the heat. They're going to rivers and streams, and have people that are not very good swimmers, especially young people. Please keep an eye on them. If you can get PFDs, that's great. But be very, very careful, because when we get these thunderstorm events, and a lot of this water comes into a local area, very, very heavy, very minor, friendly looking creeks can become very, very dangerous. And unfortunately, for a lot of our law enforcement folks, they're the ones that have to go out and do the recovery and go knock on the door and tell loved ones that the special person's never going to come home again. So the strong appeal from us, please remind your friends, your family, constituents, go out on the water and have a good time. But obviously, don't drink, and please use those life jackets. It's very, very important. With July 4th weekend coming up, we're involved in a joint effort with Kentucky State Police. And the theme is don't be the you in BUI and DUI. So again, remind people, don't be the you, wait until you get off the water, go home, go back to the cottage, and then if you want to participate in an adult beverage, that's fine. But one of the things that we found over the years, and it's a national, it's national results. People who have been drinking or that are under the influence, when they go in the water, they get confused and they think they're swimming to the surface and they're swimming down. And they run out of, obviously they run out of oxygen, they can't breathe. So if you think about it, that'd be a terrible way to go, but they get disoriented easily after consumption of alcohol and other things that would impair you. So please be concerned with that, but get out there, get on the water, enjoy yourselves. And then the last thing I have is I've got some flyers. We have a program at Fish and Wildlife called Kentucky Wild. And a lot of people don't realize that we manage over 950 species that we don't fish, hunt, or trap. So bats, songbirds, lizards, snakes. We have a full team that's dedicated to taking care of those critters. And we're underfunded in that area. It's tough to get the money to do all the things that we need to do. So we started this program a few years back called Kentucky Wild. And you can join and become a member. And you get to go out with our scientists and be like a citizen scientist for a day. For example, one of the activities this week, and if you're so inclined, it would be a great thing to go do, but it's very dirty work, is we go out and we ban geese. So geese are molting right now, they can't fly. So we round them up and you get to hold the geese and you get to ban them. And a lot of times the geese aren't real happy about that. And if you're so advanced and you want to work on some of the deep science of it, there's another part of that activity that I won't describe to you, but that you can tell the sex of the goose by some of the activity that you would do. But it's a really cool thing. We get schools out, we get students from the local colleges that come out, and it's pretty cool. But we've got an incentive now with Kentucky Wild, and I can hand out these flyers. We partnered with Deaver Golf Cars, and they built a customized wrapped Kentucky Wild golf car. And if you join Kentucky Wild, you'll be put in a drawing to win the golf car. So I'd love to see Ethan tolling around Lawrenceburg in this thing, talking about economic development. And again, teaching me more of the acronyms that I learned today, like LMI and CBDG. And I love coming here. I'm going to start making a list of all the acronyms because I love, the reports you guys give are fantastic. It's right to the point, but man, I have no clue what you're talking about. Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
What's the report there?
And for the rest of my report, Representative Griffey touched on it earlier, but the area development districts were called to testify before the interim joint committee on local government this past Tuesday. The ads used this opportunity to speak on the services we provide and our governance. Madisonville Mayor Cotton, Brown County Judge Executive Clark, and Webster County Judge Executive Henry highlighted some of the success stories of working with their area development district. And in your packet in the first sleeve, I included the presentation just for your all's reference if you all are interested. The second thing is you all hear quite often with some of the travel requests, but one of the strengths of our association of the area development districts in the Commonwealth of Kentucky is our Kentucky Council of Ads, which is our governing body. For KIPDA, that's represented by Judge Summers and Judge Eisen. But there's also another group, which is the Kentucky Association of District Directors, and that is the 15 area development district directors meet monthly to just, we meet with our funding agencies and also with any other partners, and also in kind of discuss and resolve some issues that we're experiencing. That organization has been around since 1969, and in the history of Kentucky Association of District Directors, amazingly, KIPDA has only had one chairman of that association, and that was Neil Ferris in 1978. I mean, it's pretty remarkable when you think about Jack Scriber and Jack Couch having served as KIPDA director. But at this month's meeting, I was nominated and approved to be the chairman for a 2-year term. So I'll be moving into that role starting July 1st, chairing the association. So in that capacity, I'll be able to highlight some of the needs in the KIPDA region, some of the successes in the KIPDA region, while trying to foster relationships with our state and federal partners. And that leads me to our travel request. The first travel request, EDA's Atlanta region has a new regional director. Phil Paradise had been serving in that capacity for many, many years, and he retired. And there is a new regional director, Miss Person Whiteley, and she has requested an in-person meeting to learn about the Kentucky Network of Area Development Districts and also kind of the needs of each region. So I've been asked to travel to Atlanta to meet with her next week. So that is on the first agenda or first travel item for consideration. So that would be me driving down on July 1st, spending the night meeting with her on the 2nd, and then coming back after that meeting. The next travel item for consideration is the Home and Community-Based Services Conference. That would be attended by Amber Rosario, our waiver coordinator, and that is August 24th to 28th in Baltimore, Maryland. The Meals on Wheels Conference, attended by Ricky Hurst, our nutrition planner, and that is August 25th to 28th in San Antonio, Texas. Then we have the Southeastern Association on Area Agencies on Aging, or SE4A conference. That is September 14th to 17th in Savannah, Georgia. And the attendees for that would be Beth Mathis, our Deputy Director of Social Services, Dia Urbanbeck, our Assessment and Case Management Coordinator, and Amanda Davis, our National Caregiver Coordinator. And then finally, the Association of Metropolitan Planning Organizations Conference, September 15th to 19th in Providence, Rhode Island. And that would be attended by Andy Rush, our Transportation Division Director, as well as Brady Hill, our Transportation Planner too. Happy to answer any questions on those travel items, but action is requested to approve.
There's some more acronyms there for you. Need a motion then to approve those travel requests. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Have a second? Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
And that just brings us to our upcoming meetings. Again, we will be taking the July meeting, our July meeting off for the Board of Directors as well as Transportation Policy Committee. So in July, the only meetings which Ryan illustrated earlier, the Regional Planning Council and the Regional Water Management Council on July 8th. And then moving into August, we'll have the Transportation Technical Coordinating Committee on August 13th, the SEDS Committee on August 20th, and then our regular slate of meetings on August 28th with the Regional Transportation Council at 1 o'clock, the Transportation Policy Committee at 12:30, and the August KIPDA Board of Directors meeting at 2 o'clock. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, do we have any other business? Other than I want to wish everybody a wonderful 4th of July, remembering this great country that we live in and the independence that we have to celebrate. And my dad always used to say, if you have a 5th on the 4th, you may not come 4th on the 5th. Be careful and be responsible. Everything. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. A motion to adjourn. We have a second. All those in favor signify by